Kano State Government dethrones Emir Sanusi. Zamfara State Commodity, Marketing and Distribution Board to continue disbursement of foodstuffs to schools. Bandits kill 8 in fresh Zamfara attack. Nigeria's economy and security have improved following the border closure. On business, the TCN says the current power shortage is caused by low gas supply. On sport, Raw reveals 23-man squad to face Sierra Leone. And on the international scene, Nigeria's restitution as Saudi Arabia begins global oil fight. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. I am Samira Ibrahim. Now in the news in full. The Kano State Government, led by Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has announced the sacking of the Emir of Kano, Muhammad Sanusi II. The Director General, Media and Communications, Kano State Government, Salihu Yakasai, said this on his official Twitter handle at Dawisu on Monday. The Kano State Executive Council has unanimously approved the dethronement of the Emir of Kano, Malam Muhammad Sanusi II, at a special sitting held on Monday by the Council. Muhammad Sanusi II ascended the throne in 2014 following the death of his grand-uncle, Alhaji Ado Bayero. His grandfather, Muhammad Sanusi I, reigned from 1953 to 1963, when he was deposed by Premier Ahmadu Bello. His father, Aminu Sanusi, was Chiroma of Kano. Prior to his accession, Sanusi was an economist and banker. He served as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, from 2009 to 2014, when he was suspended by President Goodluck Jonathan after raising the alarm on the $20 billion alleged to be missing.
Na jihar Kano a ƙarƙashin jagorancin mai girma gwamna na jihar Kano Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje sun amince da cire da kuma saukarwa daga kujerar mulki ta wato gundumar jihar Kano Emirate Muhammad Sanusi II.
Meanwhile, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero has now been appointed as the new Emir of Kano Emirate. Our correspondent Fauzia Ibrahim has more on the story.
An unimpeachable source at the government house hinted that Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, co-presidency over an emergency meeting, announced the dethronement. Security has also been briefed in Kano following the removal and arrest of the Emir. Fauzia Ibrahim reporting for Svtv. The Zamfara State Government, under the able leadership of Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawallan Maradun, is doing everything possible to ensure that secondary school students' feeding exercise is moving simultaneously without any obstacle, by providing the State Schools Feeding Commission all necessary foodstuff for schools feeding through Zamfara State Commodity, Marketing and Distribution Board. The Commodity Board and Zamfara State Schools Feeding Commission Chairman Alhaji Aliyu M. Sani Maradon has deemed it necessary to come out at the weekend to continue with the distribution of rice to schools for student consumption. In order to ensure that the foodstuff supplied to schools are good in terms of quality and quantity, the Zamfara State Head of Service, Alhaji Kabiru Balarabe Sadaunan and Isa, had visited the store where the distribution of the food is taking place. The head of service expressed satisfaction with the quantity and quality of the grains distributed to schools. He commended the Zamfara State School Feeding Commission under Alhaji Aliyu M. Sani Maradon and his secretary Alhaji Sani Hamza Kaura for their tireless efforts of ensuring students are fed with good and qualitative food. No fewer than 8 people have been killed by groups of suspected armed bandits in El Katsina village of Bungudu local government area of Zamfara State in a fresh attack about 20 kilometers away from Gusau, the state capital. An eyewitness identified as Alhaji Isa Dambuzu Maigoro in a telephone interview with Blueprint said the dreaded gang of armed bandits
numbering over 100, invaded the village at around 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, riding motorcycles and began shooting sporadically into the air. He stated that the bandits made away with many cows from the commodity during the operation. He said they have so far buried 8 of their people killed by the bandits, according to the Islamic rites, and those who sustained injuries were taken to Gusau for medical treatment. When contacted, the Zamfara State Commissioner for Security and Home Affairs, Alhaji Abubakar Muhammad Dauran, in an interview with Blueprint, confirmed the incident and blamed the outlawed groups of vigilante known as Ensakai for taking law into their hands by killing some innocent Fulani people and those who repented and surrendered their arms to the state government. The commissioner said the Ensakai were to be blamed because they were taking laws into their hands by attacking some Fulani commodities, despite all peace agreements between the Fulani and the state government. Committee set up by the Bauchi State Governor, Senator Bala Abdul Qadir Mohammed, has explained that 2 former governors of Bauchi State, Malam Isa Yugoda and the immediate past governor, Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar, and their associates are to refund over 1 trillion naira allegedly looted during their tenures to Bauchi State government. This is coming as a committee which is preparing to wind up activities claim that it's discovered more items allegedly belonging to the state government in the house of the former governor Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar. A member of the committee, Barrister Lawal Hussein Ibrahim, stated this in Bauchi while answering questions on the activities of the committee. He said, as the committee was rounding up its activities, it received a whistleblower tips of items being carted away and transferred outside the state by the family of the former governor Abubakar, and the committee visited the house of the former governor at Fadaman Mada and was able to recover only few items like 105 pasta making machines, 10 sewing machines, cartons of surgical hand gloves, and several office furniture belonging to the Bauchi State government. The committee had earlier recovered 4 tractors, a luxury bus, and a house belonging to the state government, which the former governor sold to himself. The house is located opposite Government House, adjacent to Wiki Hotel. Alhaji Lawal said the committee traced a lot of Bauchi government properties and resources frittered away by the 2 former governors and their associates, and the committee may submit its report any moment and express optimism that if the recommendations of the committee are implemented, the 2 former governors and their associates will refund over 1 trillion naira to the state government. When asked about the suit filed by the 2 former governors challenging the activities of the committee, Barrister Lawal said the former governors Abubakar and Yugoda took the committee before the Federal High Court in Abuja and Bauchi State High Court, but the committee is responding adequately to the suits and will submit its report without hitches by the grace of Allah. He said the committee traced over 16 different land, building and properties at different locations in Kaduna State with certificate of occupancy belonging to the Bauchi State government, and they investigated various contracts awarded by the 2 previous administrations, like purchase of 500 tractors, of which 40 were delivered, how ecological funds, Paris Club refunds, and various loans were taken, and details of their findings will be made available when they submit their report to the government. Effort to speak to the 2 former commissioners of information of the past governors, however, proved abortive. Katsina State Deputy Governor QS Manir Yakubu has charged members of the National Institute of Quantity Surveyors to adhere strictly to code of ethics of the profession while carrying their statutory functions in the state and country at large. The Deputy Governor said this on Sunday while speaking at the investiture of the 6th Senate NIQS Katsina State Chapter, saying the roles of the profession is paramount in nation building, hence the need to work hard in ensuring professional ethics and standards are strictly followed in the construction industry. He called on the members of the noble profession in Katsina State and Nigeria at large to strictly adhere to the ethics of the profession so as to contribute their quota in the enthronement of transparency and boost the nation building and development. He also urged members of the Institute to demonstrate high level of commitment in the development and growth of the chapter. He also called on the private sector and members of the public to imbibe the culture of engaging services of building professionals, especially the quantity surveyors. as a measure of ensuring value for their investment, prudent management of projects, and curtailing the menace of frequent building collapse in the country. Earlier, the national president of the association, Abba Mohammed Tor, thanked the state chapter of the NIQS for successfully transition of power in the state, tasking the new leadership to observe the annually renewing membership and ensure training and retraining of members through seminars, workshops, in accordance with the bylaw of the profession. He added that they should be proactive in maintaining the integrity of the profession as well as ensuring registering new membership in the chapter. Highlights of the event was presentation of certificates and award of the officials and goodwill messages delivered. The Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, FCT-IRS, says the short message service SMS sent to federal workers and those residents in the territory is in order. According to the executive chairman of FCT-IRS, Mr. Abdullahi Atta, the SMS is in compliance with the law which mandates the service to do so. Mr. Atta said this in an interview with News Agency of Nigeria in Abuja. He explained that the law required every taxable individual to file a tax return within 90 days after the end of the financial year. The executive chairman said that taxpayers were mandated and expected to file the tax return between January and March 31st yearly. According to him, the text message is also to remind taxpayers to comply with the law. There is a form known as Form A, which the taxpayers need to obtain or download from the website, fill and submit to any of the 11 offices across the territory. People can log on to www.fctirs.gov.ng to get the Form A downloaded or any other thing they need to do that requires visiting the website. The taxpayers on the database are many, and so it makes it difficult for them to print such forms and start distributing to the taxpayers. He said they are still very young as a tax agency, just 2 years old, and working in such a way that soon the taxpayers will be filing such return online. According to him, taxpayers don't have to go to the office but to do everything electronically. He said for now, the taxpayers have to submit them in any of the 11 offices in the FCT and they shall collect them thereafter. He explained that they have published this in the national dailies, sensitize people paying tax in FCT with a view to educating them, and they will continue to do so. The chairman expressed the hope that in a short time to come, Nigerians will get use of this system, so there will not be any need to remind them to do what was required of them by law. He noted that paying tax was not enough, but the taxpayers must ensure they file their tax returns at the end of every year in accordance with the law. Mr. Atta also said that the taxes being paid by federal government workers and those residents in the FCT were being collected by the Federal Inland Revenue Services (FIRS) before his agency fully took over in January 2018. He added that during the process, all the files of taxpayers who used to pay taxes to the FIRS before had been handed over to FCT-IRS. None recalls that the act establishing the FCT passes into law in February 2015. The Joint Border Operation Drill Sector 3 says Nigeria's security and economy has improved in less than 2 months of inauguration. The acting coordinator, Joint Border Operation Drill Sector 3, Comte Garba Ahmed, spoke to the News Agency of Nigeria in Ilorin, Kwara State. The sector covers Benue, Kogi, Kwara and Niger State and was set up on January 16, 2020 by the federal government. He said the security situation before was taking a dangerous dimension in terms of banditry, terrorism and cattle rustling. There were situations where bandits run down a whole community, but with the setting up of the border drills, these atrocities have been reduced. If you look at the rate of kidnapping before the setting up of the border drill, it was worrisome, but now smuggling, child trafficking and illegal migration have all reduced. Talking about smuggling in particular, it is statistically proven and on record that 10 million liters of petrol are being saved daily. For instance, in the North Central Zone that this sector covers, within a short period of the border drill, over 6,000 liters of diesel have also been intercepted by this sector. Mr. Mohammed said 160 illegal migrants have been intercepted and handed over to the appropriate authority, while vehicles and illicit weapons were also intercepted. He added that intensive patrol checks were carried out by over 800 operatives personnel deployed to the North Central Zone. Daily intensive patrol checks were being carried out, which gives us the record obtained so far. In this same zone, over 800 personnel have been deployed in various locations with over 50 vehicles. The acting coordinator and the Kwara State Commissioner of Police, CP Kayode Ebetokun, recently confirmed to us that the border drill have reduced criminality along other communities. The border drill with different sectors was set up by the Office of the National Advisor and comprises all the security agencies in Nigeria. It was established to secure the land and maritime borders against smuggling, cattle rustling, child trafficking, proliferation of small and light weapons, and illegal migration. The border drill was also to ensure that neighboring countries respect the agreement and protocol entered into between Nigeria and the rest of the countries. The Nigerian economy, which is the 31st largest economy in the world by GDP, has numerous challenges, including stagnation as a factor driving economy for 60 years. According to the World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report, factors driving economies are where countries compete primarily on the use of natural resources, on skilled labor, and companies compete on the basis of price as they buy and sell basic products. But the economy ought to have advanced into an efficiency-driving economy where growth is based on the development of more efficient production processes and increased product quality. The Minister of Finance and National Planning, Hajia Zainab Ahmed, has disclosed that the federal government has flushed out 70,000 ghost workers from its payroll. Hajia Ahmed stated this in Kano on Sunday during a retreat organized by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation for Federal Directors. She explained that since the implementation of the Integrated Payrolls and Personal System (IPPS), not less than 70,000 ghost workers were detected and uncovered. The minister, who commended President Muhammadu Buhari for fully supporting the nation's treasury and prudent financial management, added that the financial institution has never had a sound support like now. President Buhari has shown highest level of financial commitment in ensuring deepest financial prudence and management, and the expectations is for all to give him maximum support for the nation to achieve more financial management. The minister said IPPS system is eliminating ghost workers, and very soon the nation will be free from ghost workers and all criminal tendencies attributed to financial management. The minister added that as the nation fully implements IPPS financial system in all the federal government ministries, departments and agencies, not less than 55% of the academic staff union of universities ASU members have said to have fully complied and registered. She encouraged the remaining ASU members who were yet to register and comply with the IPPS system to do so in order to get their February salary. The Nigerian government has confirmed the second case of coronavirus in the country. The Minister of Health, Dr. Asagi Ihanire, announced this on Monday at a press conference in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Professor Ihanire briefed reporters at the boardroom of the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, where he gave an update on the coronavirus infection in the country. He, however, noted that the newly confirmed case was a contact of the index case and not an importation into the country. The minister said it is his duty to announce a new case of coronavirus disease COVID-19 in Nigeria. One of the important response strategies at the containment stage has been to identify all contacts, ensure their strict isolation, and to follow up daily with checks for any symptoms of the disease. Following the recent experience from other countries and evidence from newly published studies on non-symptomatic infections, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) advised that samples should be taken from all contacts of the index case for testing. The minister said it is in this process that these two cases were detected. Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) also announced the confirmation of the second coronavirus case, via its verified Twitter handle. According to it, the case is a contact of the Indus case in Ogun State and has been in a solution and was tested as part of strategy to check all contact of the Indus case. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. On business, over to Rita.
Hello, welcome to Standard Voice Business Updates. The Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) says the power supply shortage being experienced in the country is caused by low gas supply. Mrs. Ndidimba, TCN General Manager Public Affairs, made this known in a statement in Abuja. Mr. Brad said that the gas shortage had restricted the ability of many thermal power stations to generate optimally. She said that the thermal power plants affected by gas supply constraints included Sapele National Integrated Power Plant, NIPP Uluru Sogo NIPP, Ihobon NIPP, and Zura Edo Power Plant. According to her, the power plant generated 0 megawatts on Friday. Other thermal power plants equally affected but generated at a lower capacity included Ejibion Steam, Sapele Steam, Delta Gas, General Good Gas, and Motosho Gas. She said that also affected our Uluru Sogo Gas, General Good NIPP, Aloji NIPP, Omotoshon NIPP, Odopani NIPP, Opan Gas and Steam, and Omoku Gas power generating plant. Mr. Bass said that as a result of the prevailing gas constraints, there have been significant reduction in the quantum of power transmitted to various distribution companies for onward supply to electricity consumers across Nigeria. She said that TCN had, however, discussed with the management of some of the affected power plants. She also said that many of them attributed their challenges to gas pipeline and processing maintenance being carried out by their gas suppliers. According to the management of some of the affected power plants, the maintenance of gas facilities is expected to last for 10 days. She said it is expected that the gas supply challenges will ease before the end of next week. And that's all on business. Thanks. Until I come your way again, I'm Agua Rita.
Thank you, Rita. On spot, over to Sofian.
Hello, welcome to Standard Voice Television Sports Room. I am Abu Sufyan Abubakar, and as usual, I bring the sports updates. Super Eagles boss Gareth Rowe has released a 23-man squad player list to play Sierra Leone in the upcoming African Cup of Nations qualifiers. The list includes Daniel Akpeyi, Ikechukwu Ezenwa, and Maduka Okoye in the goalkeeping department, while in the defense department, Kenneth Omero, Leon Balogun, Chidozie Awezim, William Trust Ekong, Ola Aina, Jamilu Collins, Semi Ajayi, and Kingsley Eheziobi makes the list. And in the midfield, Sokoto-born midfielder Abdullahi Shehu, Etebo Ndidi, Joy Aribo, and Ramon Aziz make the 5-man midfield list, while up front includes Super Eagles keeper Ahmed Musa, Alex Iwobi of Everton, Victor Osimhen of Lille, Samuel Chukwueze of Villarreal, Moses Simon, Kelechi Iheanacho, Samuel Kalu, and possibly debutant Cyril Dessers of Heracles Almelo, who is currently the top goal scorer in Eredivisie in Netherlands. And here are the results of the major games played across Europe over the weekend. Liverpool FC defeated Bournemouth 2-1 with Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane both on the score sheet, while Arsenal FC left it late at the Emirates to defeat West Ham United with a lone goal scored by Lacazette in the 78th minute. Burnley played a 1-1 draw with Spurs at the Toughmore Stadium, while Chelsea destroyed Everton with 4-0 in a game that saw Carlo Ancelotti return to Stamford Bridge, but this time around with an opposition team. Manchester United were successful in the Manchester Derby after defeating Manchester City 2-0. Goals from Anthony Martial and McTominay made sure United completed double over Man City this season. This is the first time United are defeating Manchester City home and away since 2009-2010 season. And in the Spanish La Liga, Barcelona defeated Real Sociedad 1-0, with Lionel Messi scoring the only goal through a penalty in the 80th minute, while Real Betis defeated Real Madrid 2-1 in what Zinedine Zidane, the Madrid boss, described as Real Madrid's worst game of the season. Atletico Madrid played a 2-2 draw with Sevilla and are still preparing for the Champions League second leg clash with Liverpool at Anfield on Wednesday. Juventus played 2-0 victory over Inter Milan in a closed-door Serie A outing amid fear of coronavirus spread, while AC Milan lost 1-2 at home to Genoa. And in the German Bundesliga, Bayern Munich defeated Augsburg 2-0 to maintain their position on top of the league, while Borussia Dortmund defeated Borussia Mönchengladbach 1-2 at the Gladbach Stadium to keep on pressure on Bayern Munich, who are just a point clear of Dortmund in the league. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Sofian. And on the international scene. Saudi Arabia plans to unilaterally increase oil output next month, a move that will further reduce prices, reliable sources told Bloomberg. Such a move could make matters worse for oil-dependent countries like Nigeria. Premium Times reported how the price of crude reduced Friday after oil producers failed to agree on oil cuts at an oil producers meeting. Members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) resolved to cut crude oil production by a combined volume of about 1.5 million barrels per day to stop further reduction in international oil price. The cut will have been about 1.5% of current global crude oil supplies of over 300 million barrels per day. OPEC said the burden of the cut will be shared with non-OPEC allies led by Russia. However, on Friday, Moscow rejected the plan and said countries were free to export as much oil as they could from March ending when the current deal ends. Responding aggressively to the collapse of its OPEC Plus alliance, Saudi Arabia plans to increase oil output next month, going well above 10 million barrels per day. Bloomberg quoted Managing Director for the Middle East at oil consultant FGE, Iman Naseri, as saying that Saudi Arabia is now really going into a full price war. Already, Saudi Arabia has begun to show its mettle as it slashed the price it sells crude into foreign marketers. Bloomberg reported that the price slash offered unprecedented discounts in Europe, the Far East, and the US, and enticed refiners to purchase Saudi crude at the expense of other suppliers. The big price slash may be an effort to force Russia and other producers back to the negotiating table. According to the report, Saudi Arabia, the world's largest oil exporter, had privately told some marketers participants it could raise production much higher if needed, even going to a record of 12 million barrels a day. Saudi production is likely to rise above 10 million barrels per day in April from about 9.7 million barrels this month, before going as high as 12 million barrels. Nigeria makes most of its foreign earnings from oil. The current price of oil is already well below the $57 a barrel Nigeria benchmarked its 2020 budget, with planned daily production put at 2.18 million barrels. Currently, Nigeria produces about 2 million barrels daily. According to details on oil data site, international benchmark Brent crude slid 9.4% to settle at $45.27 per barrel on Friday, while Nigeria's Bonny Light sold at $46.33 per barrel, sliding at about 10.8%. With oil demand being overwhelmed by the coronavirus outbreak, if Saudi pumps more oil as it's planned by April, oil price will fall further, a move that could further affect Africa's largest economy. This is going to get nasty, Bloomberg quoted Do King, a co-founder of the Merchant Commodity Fund. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Kano State Government dethrones Emir Sanusi. Zamfara State Commodity, Marketing and Distribution Board to continue disbursement of foodstuffs to schools. Bandits killed 8 in fresh Zamfara attack. Nigeria's economy and security have improved following the border closure. On business, the TCN says the current power shortage is caused by low gas supply. On sports, Raw reveals 23-man squad to face Sierra Leone. And on the international scene, Nigeria risks recession as Saudi Arabia begins global oil fight. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs, Alhaji Ibrahim Garabatuna, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant time. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.